Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning.
Waalaikumsalam, sir. Good morning.
Assalamualaikum, sir. Good morning.
Today we are going to do a short discussion. Okay, after that I will let you do one more exercise. Okay, lab exercise. Okay. Alright, so before that, okay, let me share with you one of your friend answer. This is from yesterday lecture exercise. Where is it? Okay. Mashita Umairah, ada tak? Mashita Umairah ada?
Ada.
Okay, I share this file to WhatsApp. WhatsApp sama je kan? Kat sini boleh share file tak? Kat sini boleh? Sini. Tak boleh share. I shared the file in the WhatsApp group. Can you guys download that file? That is from Mashita. Okay, have a look at that file. This one over here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, if you cannot see this clearly, you can browse on the given file. Okay, the same file from over here. So this is from Mashita. Okay, this is the algorithm. Is it correct, class? The algorithm? Dia kena ni And then should be like this And then any comment? Algorithm okay?
Okay, sir.
Sini indent So indent also have some marks during the assessment. Algorithm seems good. Okay. How about dash check? Any comments on the dash check? Is it correct? Betul tak kelas?
Ya, input out.
Input output? Okay, let's look at the first loop kan. First loop, okay, the first flow seems okay, right? So in line 2, Mashita's doing the initialization, okay, starting with days. Oh, okay, sorry. So there's one problem with this algorithm kan. So Mashita, you cannot use double over here. You must be able to differentiate between double and single equal kan. So double equal like this, equal is to compare. Okay, usually we put it inside of decision. Okay, doesn't matter if it is for looping decision or if else decision. So we put it inside of decision. Okay, to compare between left and right, whether it is similar or not. Okay, so if inside of equation or initialization, you cannot use double equal. Okay, double equal meaning to compare. Okay, single equal meaning to put a value to a variable. Like this, we are putting 0 to days. Okay, we are storing a 0 value to a variable named days. Okay, so this is mistake that will deduct some of your marks. Okay, so it should be single. This should be less than or equal or less than. Okay, if you start with 0 kan. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And 9 already 10 loop. Okay. So if you put it equal or equal to 10, meaning altogether you are going to have how many loop? 11, alright. So if you start with 0, okay, you count properly. Okay, make sure you count properly. Make sure it doesn't exceed 10. So you can stop the loop by changing it to just less than, or you can keep this and you start with 1. Okay, both can. Okay, both is correct. Okay, PSI rate. So the question is it including 0? It is 0 between 0 and 50, eh? 0 to 50, meaning that 0 is included, and 0 and 50 is included to good category, eh? So this one need to be changed to what? If you want to include 0.
Greater than equal.
Okay, greater than or equal to 0. But this one?
Enggak letak equal.
Okay, less than or equal, okay, because it is included it is including the 50, right? If you don't want to change also can, okay, but you need to change this to 51. So it will stop until 50 kan. So okay, there are more than one way to do this. Okay, so similarly you need to change this to Okay, so this is need to be equal to, okay, this is need to be equal, and this is including and including. All right. Okay. Okay, so go back to the dash check. Okay, up until line number 7. Okay, don't forget this line meaning that line in your algorithm. Okay. Okay, line in your algorithm. So algorithm up until line number 7. Okay, initialization. Then correct. So in line 8 next we have a decision. Okay, decision which we put inside of column condition. Eh? So this one is shared between looping and decision. Okay. So looping and condition shared in single column. Alright. So this is correct. So you have one condition. So in line 8 we have the first condition which is we check the value of, okay, we check the value of days. So what is the value of days in line 8? In line 8 value days is what?
0.
0 kan. Over here 0 kan. So before entering the loop, okay, initial value is 0. So is 0 less than 10? Okay, that's the one that we are going to check kan. So is 0. So this one is wrong lah. If you put it 1. Okay. Over here the value of this kan, you are using this kan. So it must be consistent with your algorithm. So inside of your algorithm you use days. So this value is 0. So this should be apa? Is it 1? Betul ke kelas?
0.
Salah, 0.
Salah lah. Okay. So this should be 0 value. 0 is the correct one. Okay. So 0 less than, okay, this one we changed already. Less than 10. So is it correct? So it is true. This one correct. Okay. So if correct, okay, we entered the loop body. Okay, with line 9. So line 9, you let the user to enter the PSI value and PSI value. So over here, user enter 49. Okay. So correct, Is it correct? Correct. Okay. So after user entered the value of PSI, what it's going to do next is in line 10. Okay, next is line 10. So in line 10, there's a decision to be made. Alright. To check whether the PSI value entered by the user, is it correct between 0 to 50. So check. So we have a condition over here. Okay, correct. However, how you write it is what should we put over here supposedly? The value, right? The value of the PSI rate, which is, what is the value?
49.
49. Okay, so just follow the new condition that we already changed. So this one, is it more than or less, okay, greater than or equal to 0 Okay, double n and Just follow the decision, but change the variable to the current value kan, current value of PSI rate kan. PSI, okay. So is it true? Okay, true kan. Okay, so this one is true. So what happen if it is true? It will enter the true body of the decision, which is this one. So it will give category equal to good. This one also single equal kan. Single, single, single. So category equal to good. If you don't put this, also correct kan. So this is optional because this is optional, okay. The most important thing is the counting part. Okay, the counting part over here is the one that give you mark kan. Alright, so category equal to good in line 10, line 11, good sum. Equal to good sum plus 1. Okay, so category equal to good. Alright, category equal to good. Is it an output? Is it an output class? Line 11, is it an output process?
No.
No, okay. So this is not an output process. Okay. This is we are putting a value to a variable. So it is not an input or output. Okay. It is not input. It is not also output process. Okay. So this one shouldn't be over here. So it shouldn't be here. Right. But over here is correct. Okay. We are giving a value to a category n. Okay. So in line 11, okay, we do a calculation to update the value of good sum. So good sum originally is 0. That's why your friend put 0 plus 1 over here kan. So the new value of good sum is 1. Okay. So this is also not an input or output process. So it doesn't have to be put over here unless user entered the value. So you put it over here. Or you are print the value. You are printing the value. Okay, that one is output process. So you put it over here. Okay, this is input. Okay, input like this. Output you put single equal kan. Okay, so then moving on. Okay, moving on to okay, since this is correct, so we are using a positive decision logic structure. So the rest is going to be skipped. Kan? So the rest is going to be skipped until line 25. And next is execute line 26. Line 26 kan. Decision lain semua boleh skip because this one already correct kan. This one already true. So the rest is going to be skip until okay, we reach days equal to days plus 1. So this is correct. Kan? This is to update the counter kan, counter of the loop. Okay, so what happened over here in line berapa tadi? 26. In line 26 we have this. So correct. Okay. So this is correct. However, this one is okay. It doesn't have to be here. So remove this. Alright. So what happened is after reaching the end of the line, so it will move back up into line 8. Okay, and check the decision of the loop. Alright. So supposedly it goes up to line 8. Okay, correct. Okay, correct flow for the dash check. Okay. And then checking the value of the days. Okay, so current days, current days value is over here kan. Days. So current this value is already 1. So take this value and put it inside of the decision. So it is supposed to be what value over here? Is it correct?
No.
It's supposed to be it is supposed to be 1. Okay. Okay. So 1, is it less than 10? So it's true, correct kan? Correct, then it will re-enter again the loop. Okay, similar line lah. So in line 9, okay, similarly with this one. Okay, so user entered the second value, which is 40. Okay, sama lah, sini kan. So line 9, repeat again, line 9, enter 40. And then check the decision. So if this correct, and then do the same process. Okay, so do the same process. So altogether, you need to have 10 lah. 10 value kan. So panjang lah. Yang panjang lah. Okay, so the rest you need to change as well. Okay, so this one you need to do some correction lah for the rest of the just check. Okay, is it clear class? What need to be done?
Yes, sir.
Boleh?
Boleh.
Any question? On the desk check. Boleh eh? Right, so if no question, we are going to have a look on the looping structure again. Okay, revisit the looping structure. So we have looked at previously we already looked at two situations. Okay, two situations where in the first situation we have a predefined looping. Okay, meaning that the programmer decide how many loops should happen inside of a system, which also we call as automatic loop kan. For example, we want the loop to be exactly the system to be exactly looping 5 times. Okay, so it is fixed to 5 kan. So user the one that use the system cannot change the value of the loop. Alright, and then the second one, okay, the one that we discussed yesterday is when the user themselves can decide inside of the looping, they can decide whether to continue with the system, meaning that to repeat the loop or to exit the loop kan. So that one we put this, okay, we changed yesterday, we changed this value, the counter value, instead of a number. Okay, now it is a yes or no kan, over here kan. Yes, and then over here user need to enter the counter kan. Instead of we put a process, assignment process over here to update the value of counter, okay, usually we put a counting kan, counter equal to counter plus 1. That one is for automatic. Okay, so we change it to input process so that user will decide whether to continue with the loop or not. Okay, in some condition, in some problems, the condition for stopping the loop change to either 1 or 0 kan. For example, if yes is 1, okay, no is 0. So what you need to change over here if it is 1 or 0? Apa guys? 1 or 0?
One say.
Yeah. Counter equal to 1 lah. Okay. So this one equal to 1. Okay. So 1 continue kan. The problem mentioned that user need to enter 1 to continue and enter 0 to exit the system. So this one need to change to 1 lah. 1 it will continue the system, and then other than 1 it will exit the looping. Okay, exit the system. Okay, understand? Okay, so this is similar. This is just similar with yes or no. Okay, however the value is different. So it is similar with the yes. Okay, the one that we are going to look at today is another types of looping problem. Okay, so the third type lah. So this is the second, where user can determine whether they want to continue or not. Okay, next is user determine how many loops. This one is user also don't know kan, so how many loops kan. It is when they entered the loop and then they decide kan. So there's no fixed value for the loops. Okay, user cannot determine. Okay, so I want user I want the system to be looping 10 times, for example. So user cannot decide that kan before the loop happen. So once they enter the loop, then they can decide whether to continue or not. Okay, now we want user to decide. For example, in this system, user can decide how many numbers that they want to add. Do you get what's the problem is? Okay, so before the counting start, the system will ask the user how many numbers you want to be added. For example, like that. Okay, or we can translate it into how many loop. Okay, the system will ask how many loop you want the system uh, uh, how many loop do you want the system to be repeated. Tu gaya saya tu. Something like that. Okay, so how many loops you ask the user how many loops you want kan. So user will enter 5. Okay, user enter user put 5 and then enter, so it will loop 5 times. If user enter 8, so it will loop 8 times. Do you get the problem? Do you get it, class? If that is a problem, what should we do with this flowchart? What should we change over here?
Satu lagi counter.
One more counter.
Yes.
One more counter. One more counter. I think what you mean is not a counter, right? I think what you mean is a variable. Okay, use along with the counter. That one is the correct term. Okay, so we need another variable that is used along with the counter. Counter will remain there. Okay, the counter will remain exactly like it should be. Okay, there should be 3 elements, okay, which is a counter. However, the value that we want to compare is we stored inside of variable, not a fixed value. What is a fixed value? For example, this one, 1, and so this is fixed value. Okay, or originally we use yes or no, and so this is fixed value. So this is fixed value. So instead of using fixed value, we change this to a variable. Boleh faham tak? So what's a variable? For example, I'm using variable user lah. Any variable, okay, you can use. So variable user. why I need to use this? So that it will match with user input. Faham tak? So where should I put this input? Is it before the loop or after the loop or inside the loop?
Before the loop.
Yeah, correct again. So you should define the value of this value, okay, the user value before the loop. So who's going to define this value? Who's going to give this value? Is it programmer or user? User lah kan?
User.
User is going to enter the value before the loop to be happen kan? So before atas ni lah. Okay, anywhere over here. Okay, you can do it after counter or before counter, anywhere kan? Okay, so let's say we put it originally over here. Okay. So now the counter, we restart, we have to change the counter into number value again. Okay. Okay, so this one cannot be yes or no lah. This one cannot be yes or no. Okay, so it should be a number. You can start with 1 or 0. For example, if we start with 1. Okay, for example, if we start with 1. So below that, okay, below that, the ruang so I just put it over here. Okay, so you can put anywhere. Okay, you need to put one input lah. One more input. One input over here before the looping and I said before the loop, so it can be anywhere. It can be before counter equal to 1 or it can be between here. It's up to you, as long as it is before the loop. So what should I put here? What should I write?
Enter user.
Correct. Okay, enter user. Betul lah tu, faham lah. So this is simple only kan. So as long as you understand, okay. So enter user. So this will, let's say user enter 6. So what will happen over here? So it will compare the value with 6. Compare what value kan? Compare this one lah, counter. So counter 1. Is 1 equal to 6? Is 1 equal to 6? Is it correct? Huh? True or false? False, right? So it will go out. So how we want to change this? Okay, we want the counter to be able to be, we want this the system to be able to repeat 6 times based on user user input. So what should we change over here?
Less than and equal to.
Less than or equal to. Okay, let's check this. Okay, less than or equal to user. Okay, so let's say user enter 5. Okay, user enter 5. So 5 over here. Okay, so the value of counter is 1. User want to repeat 5 times, okay? Because user enter 5 over here. Okay, so 1 is less than or equal to 5. Is it true or false? True, right? So true, enter. Okay, so good step, first step kan? So enter number, first number, do the accumulation. And then over here, user need to enter counter, is it correct? Is it correct?
No.
No, right? So we need to change this to what? Okay, back to the original counting process. Okay, because inside of the looping, okay, user doesn't have control again. Okay, user don't have to have control on the looping. Okay, user only control the looping on the outside over here. Over here they decide how many loop they want. So once they already decided, inside of the looping they just entered the value of number. Okay, let's say if they want 5 to be they want to repeat 5 times, so they need to enter 5 number lah in each loop. Loop, one number. Second loop, second number. Third loop, third number. That's it. Okay. So the flow of the loop now given back to the counter, which is what? Which is what the counting equation?
Counter equal counter plus 1.
Correct. Okay, counter equal to counter plus 1. Okay, so this goes back to the original version of the loop. If you still remember, the automatic loop, and so this is similar with the automatic loop counting equation. Alright, so right now we have the new value of the counter. So originally counter is 1, so plus 1 counter is 2, and so goes back here 2, and so 2 is it equal to 5? Tadi user masukkan, okay, the user entered 5 kan. So 2 less than equal to 5. Okay, betul kan? So altogether how many loops? If user enter 5 tadi. If this is our structure, okay, we start with 1, we end with 5. Do we get 5 loop? Start with 1, okay, and this value is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 included, and so yes, correct. So we have 5 loop. So this is correct. But please make sure you start with 1 counter. If you start with 0, then this is wrong. Okay. If you start counter with 0, you will get how many loops? You will get extra 1 loop, and so if you want to start with 0, this one need to be changed to what?
Less than.
Yeah, correct. Less than. Okay. So this is the third types of looping. Okay. Don't get confused with the type of while, do while, and automatic. Okay. This is another type. Another type that is how we define the number of looping. Apa saya nak buat ni? Okay, save as. Okay, so this is V3. Okay, any question, guys? Any question? So ini tukar kosong. Enter user. This is because I am using user as a variable kan, so this is up to you lah. Okay, while counter less than user. Okay, the rest is similar. Okay, any question? No? Alright, so if no question, So we have 45 minutes. Mana ada 45 kan? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, to complete your lab exercise, which is okay, the same file from last week. Okay, however, I need you to answer question number 4. Okay, answer question number 4. Okay, read carefully and submit the flowchart. Boleh kelas? This one only one question. Question number 4. Boleh?
Boleh.
Alright, so you may proceed with the exercise. Okay, see you guys again next week. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Due date yang tu bila?
Boleh lah submit hari ni tak boleh ke?
Boleh lah, boleh.
Hari ni
Okay.
Okay. Today.
Alright. Thank you, sir.
Stay.
Yeah.
Nak tanya pasal mini